Welcome to How to Yu-Gi-Oh!
Historic Archetype, Psy-Frame.
Chapter 1.
Alrighty then, and so in this video I'm going to be talking about Psy-Frames, their impact that they've had on the game, and how I feel Psy-Frames are in Yu-Gi-Oh! Today and their relevance. With that being said, let's get on with the rest of the video.
Chapter 2.
Okay, and as you can see in front of you, we're going to be talking about Psy-Frames. But to talk about Psy-Frames and their historic relevance, let's talk about when they came out. They came out during midway of the Synchro era, and Psy-Frames are the first and famous hand trap archetype of all time. And the only hand trap in both TCG and OCG to get hit in Yu-Gi-Oh's history. So definitely they have a significant history and significant power as the only hand trap to get hit in both TCG and OCG. Have facilitated countless plays, countless combos, have facilitated as well the amount of countering of Ash Blossom. If you ever needed to counter Maxi or Ash Blossom, Gamma was the way forward. They also facilitated as well the introduction of one-card combos. In fact, it was Manadium using Psy-Frame Gear Gamma to go into Axel Synchro Stardust. That was the birth and the introduction of one-card combos into Yu-Gi-Oh! The fact that a hand trap could go into a full one-card combo playing through multiple hand traps. Remember, this is before the introduction of, again, Snake Eyes, is severely powerful and quite interesting when you think about it. So yeah, Psy-Frames have a fantastic and wonderful history in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Scene. When we look at Psy-Frame Lord Lambda, again, great card overall that has pushed hand traps to a whole new level. And finally, you have Psy-Frame Lord Omega, part of Hand Loops, and was one of the earliest synchros to be limited again for hand looping, and still to this day it is at 1 and has remained at 1 ever since. So yeah, here is all that Psy-Frames are about. They have a history of starting one-card combos. They have a history as well of promoting hand looping. And they have a history of doing great things for Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, as they have now fallen out of favor because with the limiting of Gamma. Will Gamma ever be brought back to 3? I doubt it. Its significant power and its significant use has basically rendered it being limited to 1 a foregone conclusion. As if it was brought back to 3, it could counter everything. It counters Ash Blossom, counters the Malcharmies, and means that combo decks have ways to counter hand traps. In fact, it is so perfect that whether Psy-Frame Gear Gamma will come to 1 is something I think that will never happen. Maybe we could see the other limiting of Psy-Frame Gear Delta? One that negates spells? Who knows? Who really knows at this point what can really happen to Yu-Gi-Oh! At this point? With that being said, let's head on to the conclusion.
Final chapter.
And here we have the conclusion to Psy-Frames. So all I want to say is that Psy-Frames have had fantastic history for Yu-Gi-Oh! They were the first archetype hand trap to be introduced in Yu-Gi-Oh! And to become very famous, and were the most famous hand trap before Ash Blossom got introduced, obviously, and still has been an Ash Blossom counter and essentially has been the counter to other hand traps. Gamma has been one of those hand traps that counters other hand traps. Has significant history. It has also introduced one-card combos with when Vanadium first came out, having it hit in TCG there, limiting it to one. I think in OCG it was limited earlier than the year that it was in TCG. But anyways, it's had such a huge history, such a significant impact for Yu-Gi-Oh! That it is in the annals of history as the most influential hand trap in Yu-Gi-Oh! History. Sure, some would say it is Ash Blossom and others would say it is Maxi, but I feel Psy-Frame Gamma also is in there in the annals of history as an influential hand trap. While Maxi may be number one, I put Psy-Frame Gamma as number 2 and Ash Blossom possibly as number 3, with Maxi being the most influential and Gamma coming in second place. Because if you ever wanted to counter Maxi, you'd always use Gamma first. While sure, got to remember at the time Ash Blossom didn't exist, so Gamma had more of an impact of stopping Maxi. And Gamma as well is something that always on its own could generate a one-card combo. As if you negated with a Gamma, it left you 2 monsters on the board, and that was a free Synchro Summon, free Link Summon, free whatever summon to go into whatever you wanted to go into. So loads more potential, loads more things you can go into, loads more combos and flows you can go into just by having Gamma. And I think that's it. So tune in next time as I'll talk about more things in this historic archetype videos. Hope to see you soon.
We come to the end of this video. So, as I like to say, you are one step closer to becoming a Yu-Gi-Oh! Master. My fate, right, is in your hands.